Most metallic zippers have a hidden lock inside them to save you from awkward situations. Don't leave the zipper handle in an upward position. When you pull it downwards, it automatically locks. It's all thanks to those tiny grooves hidden underneath the handle. Almost any public toilet has a large gap between the floor and the door. The reason for such a zero privacy thing is to actually minimize the level of privacy and comfort so that people don't stay there long and there are no lines. It's also easier to clean and safer if some emergency occurs. Spoiled milk emits gases, like most foods when they go off. A classic plastic milk jug has a concave shape on one side, so when the gases expand inside the jug, it extends too, and the concave shape curves out. Also, if you want to save some milk for later and freeze it, the jug will expand when the milk gets solid and occupies more space in the jug. A pack of cotton pads has those strings on it so that we can hang it from some hook or holder. And no, there's no need to untighten and tighten the pack again. Look at the bottom of the pack. It has a perforated line. Tear along it, and now you're good to pull out a cotton pad. Bananas tend to go black uncannily quickly. To store them for longer, wrap some cling film around the stem to help the fruit stay fresh for a few more days. French fries go best with some sauce or ketchup, but if it comes in a soft pack, you might have a hard time finding where to pour it. Next time, flip the bendable flap at the bottom of the fries box outward and you'll have a convenient makeshift plate for the sauce. Some ballpoint pens have a tiny hole on their side whose function is unclear. In fact, it's a ventilation system. Without it, the ink would just stay where it is and not flow to the tip of the pen. The modern aviator sunglasses were initially made in the 1930s. Before that, pilots wore tinted goggles to protect their eyes from glare and low temperatures, but they weren't actually enough to block the blinding light up in the sky. So, later, a new kind of sunglasses was developed that we now know as aviators. Their lightweight metal frame made them easy to put on and off at will, and the green tint helped cut out the blue light. Besides, the now iconic green lenses only let 15% of light through. Their teardrop shape helped the pilot look down without the risk of being blinded by the glare from below. The seemingly random buttonhole on the lapel of a suit coat once served an actual purpose. Back in the 18th century, men used to wear dresses with high collars that had buttons all the way to the top. They would loosen up a bit on particularly hot days, unbuttoning the collar. The top of the dress's chest would then form two folded-over flaps. This form became a classic that we now know today as suit coats with time. The button is nowhere to be found, but its buttonhole remains in place as a nod to the past. Many outdoor jackets, especially sports ones, have a small pocket on their chest. Its name is the Napoleon pocket, and it's really a reference to the notorious French leader of the early 19th century. In his portraits, he would often be pictured with one of his hands stuck inside his jacket at the chest level. And this pose became very well known thanks to him. The Napoleon pocket is right where he put his hand, but nowadays it's mainly used to keep maps or snacks handy, and a smartphone fits in it perfectly too. The ring on the bottom of a cast iron skillet was first introduced when natural gas wasn't yet a thing, and people mainly used wood stoves to cook. They'd burn wood logs in different compartments and then place pots and pans on top to heat up the food. The ring on the bottom of the skillet allowed it to sit slightly above and out of the flame. But its origins weren't a design feature, it was actually a bug. When you make a pan out of cast iron, it's difficult to achieve perfect flatness on the bottom, and even the slightest unevenness would make the skillet wobble on the stove. That's where the ring comes into play. You can grind it without doing so with the rest of the bottom, thus worsening its quality. And when ground, the ring becomes perfectly flat, removing the wobbling. The command key, meant to help users make do without a mouse on MacBook, dates back to the 1980s. Its original name was the Apple key, but Steve Jobs didn't want to overuse the Apple name. That decision meant there would also need to be an alternative logo. Jobs gave the task of finding a symbol to represent the notion of command to one of the resident bitmap artists of the company. And the shape she came up with, the iconic pretzel design, was inspired by Nordic maps. They used it to mark campgrounds. Candle lighters hide a secret inside them. They're not that unique. In most cases, they have a regular lighter inside, plus a special mechanism to help the spark light the candle. Fruit and vegetable labels have numbers on them that indicate the countries they come from and how they were grown. A 5-digit number starting with an 8 means the fruit or veg was genetically modified. If the number begins with a 9, it was grown organically, and the rest grown in the usual way, usually have 4-digit numbers and start with a 3 or 4. Multicolored circles at the bottom of chip bags tell the manufacturer if everything is printed the right way, and their location tells the cutting machine about the exact place to cut. There's an icon on cosmetic items that looks like an open box with either 12M or 24M written on it. This icon tells you how much the product can last after being opened. The number and letter marking means the number of months, 12 or 24. In London, some poles kinda look like street lamps, but there are no bulbs. Their official name is stink pipes. They're a thing of the past now, but they used to come in handy back in the 19th century. These hollow poles would take the air and explosive gases with bad smell up to prevent unwanted consequences. Automatic lip liners and eye pencils have a sharpener installed in the package. The lid on the back part of the pencil doesn't only reveal the color. You can pull it out and sharpen the product. You can make a makeshift stand for disposable chopsticks. They have a sort of lump at one side before you split the pair. So next time you have a sushi dinner, try breaking off that lump instead of regular splitting. When you want to take a sushi break, just place the stick on this stand. A dollar has its secrets too. A large letter with a rim shows which bank is responsible for issuing this bill. There are 12 banks distributing currency. For example, the L says it was printed in San Francisco. There's only one way you can store your peanut butter correctly. If you place it regularly, it may get a bit solid before long. The trick is to keep it upside down so the oils don't stay on the bottom all the time and distribute evenly. Whatever coffee shops you go to, all the disposable cups look precisely the same, only the logo changes. The secret here is the special shape that lets you enjoy your drink quickly. The top is always broader, allowing it to accommodate your nose while you're drinking. The bottom is always narrower, so anyone can hold it easier, even if the hand is relatively small. This width difference also allows the cups to stack.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.